please subscribe to Raj Shamani Clips channel because you will get so many clips which will help you become a better leader for tomorrow. You were the governor. At that time, you worked with PM Manmohan and you worked with PM Modi, both, right? What were the strengths of both? What do you like about PM Modi and what do you like about PM Manmohan?
I'll be very brief about this because obviously I don't want to talk too much about the personal interactions. I think Prime Minister Manmohan Singh obviously was an economist. He's an economist and is a brilliant one. So he understands everything I'm saying about the economy and he thinks very much along the lines of what I'm thinking, and I don't have to explain too much on what we need, my job as RBI governor was to explain where we were in the economy and where we need to go. I think Prime Minister Modi is extremely alert and is a quick read. So initially, again, I started by explaining where we were, etc. He asked questions, but he got up to speed. And then the discussions were, after the initial discussions were more on the why are we doing this, why are we doing that, and should we do this and should we do that. But both are, obviously very, very competent
of course. Gentlemen. What's the strength? What do you think is the strength of PM Modi and what was the strength of PM
Well,
Modi?
now I'm going to step outside RBI because this is not based on personal. I think he's an extraordinary politician.
PM Modi?
Yeah. He has a sense of the pulse of the people and he knows what makes them sort of, he knows how to convince people.
Yeah, he's a great persuader.
He's a persuader. He is an extraordinary politician.
He makes people believe. That's so true. It's you look at him and you read about him and the way everything they've designed, it just makes you believe them much more.
Well, I think he's very persuasive. Now, I think Dr. Manmohan Singh, was extremely insightful into what he thought was needed. So that was his strength. He was more analytical. But obviously, Dr. Manmohan Singh is not a politician. He was much more
an economist than a politician.
A technocrat, let me say. A
technocrat, okay.
Technocrat. But it's not that he was, sometimes you get the sense that technocrat means somebody who is naive. Is not naive by any stretch of imagination. You couldn't have worked in all the positions he worked in so successfully without being really, really able as an administrator. He's an able administrator, including, if you remember, the US-India nuclear deal, which he pulled off. So I think there's a lot in both men.
In your book, there's one chapter which says India's engagement with the world. What is it about?
So what we're trying to say is India has benefited tremendously when it has been open to the world, right? If we want to really sell our goods and services across the world, we have to be part of global supply chains, whether they're service supply chains, whether they're manufacturing supply chains. We need foreign companies to come here and invest in India. We need to be able to sell our goods in the rest of the world. So closing down our economy is a bad idea. Opening up and engaging with the world is the right idea. I think one issue we need to keep also in mind, we are seen as a friendly country relative to, say, China. That is why the world is beating apart to our door. We cannot be seen as an ugly superpower. We cannot exercise our muscles before, our time has come. And even when our time has come, we should be much more careful because we need to take countries with us rather than antagonize them and say, you shall do this. And I think we have to be, so the Chinese have a term for their ugliness, which is wolf warrior.
Okay.
Because you're flexing your muscles and saying, rest of the world be scared of us. And that causes a reaction. The US imposes tariffs because they're scared of China.
Yeah.
the countries around China have disputes with them because they're scared of China. There's an Indian term which is now starting to emerge, tiger warrior. That we also have a bunch of people who say, we're going to exercise our might in the rest of the world. First, it's too early. And second, it causes a reaction, right? We don't want that reaction. It's better to be liked because they open their trade, their goods and services, their universities to us. To be disliked, to be put in the same category as China would mean we don't get the investment, we don't get the trade, we don't get the people.
Yeah.
How many people want to come to a country which is antagonistic with theirs? So let's be careful about that.
So, giving it an example, let's say what we did with Canada recently, like we were too harsh, we should take a lightened approach.
No matter what the reality on whether Indian agents were involved, Indian government agents were involved in what happened, that's still a matter of debate. But the reaction to Canada saying you should not try and kill people on our soil was of huge indignation. And we, to some extent, pushed back much harder than when the US said exactly the same thing. And we were much more cooperative in listening to them. I think the issues are exactly the same. In fact, the people involved are exactly the same. But our two different reactions
for two different countries
suggest that perhaps we should be thinking, what image are we sending across?
Fair. Thank you for watching this clip till the end. If you want to become a better leader for tomorrow, then please subscribe this channel.